Let's be honest. If you're watching this, it's because something doesn't add up. She laughs at your jokes a little longer than she needs to. She remembers things you said months ago that even you forgot. She texts you late at night, not to flirt openly, but to check in. And yet, when anyone asks what you are to her, she says that word, friend. That word lands heavy because deep down, you feel it. This isn't how women treat men they feel nothing for. The confusion is what keeps you up at night. The uncertainty is what makes this hurt more than rejection would. Here's the truth most men never hear. Attraction doesn't always show up the way movies promised you. Real attraction, especially from emotionally aware women, often hides behind safety first. Women are taught early to protect themselves emotionally, so when she feels something real, something that could shift her world, her first instinct isn't to leap, it's to observe, to test, to see who you are when nothing is guaranteed. When a woman truly sees you only as a friend, her energy is flat. Comfortable? Yes. Warm maybe, but neutral. There's no tension. No pauses, no subtle emotional pull. But when she's secretly attracted, the dynamic changes in quiet ways. Her tone softens around you. She shares things with you she doesn't share with other men. Not because she wants advice, but because she wants you to see her inner world. That's not accidental. That's selective vulnerability. Pay attention to how she reacts when other women enter your orbit. A woman who feels nothing won't care, but a woman who's emotionally invested, even unconsciously, will shift. She might tease you, she might suddenly go quiet, she might ask questions that seem casual but aren't. This isn't jealousy in the dramatic sense, it's internal recalibration. She's measuring her place in your life without admitting she wants one. Another truth most men miss: women don't friend zone men they're attracted to in the way you think. The friend position is often a holding space, a place where she can study your consistency, your emotional depth, your restraint. She's watching how you handle not getting everything you want right away. That matters more to her than looks or status ever could. Your patience tells her who you are under pressure. Notice how she responds when you pull back just a little, not to manipulate, but to live your life fully. If she leans in, initiates, or checks your emotional temperature, that's not coincidence. That's fear of losing access to you. And people don't fear losing what they don't value. Here's the uncomfortable part. Attraction grows strongest where there's emotional safety and self-respect. If you're always available, always agreeable, always waiting, you blur into comfort without polarity. But if you stand grounded in your own direction, calm in uncertainty, she feels something deeper, something she can't easily name. You were never meant to chase clarity from her words alone. Women reveal truth through behavior long before they ever speak it. And right now, whether you realize it or not, she's already telling you exactly how she feels, just not in the language you were taught to listen for. The reason this situation feels so heavy is because you're standing in the space between hope and restraint. You feel the pull, but you don't want to misread it. And she knows that. Women are extraordinarily perceptive when it comes to emotional tension. She can feel your awareness even when you never say a word. That's why her behavior around you isn't random, it's calibrated. When a woman is secretly attracted, she starts giving you emotional priority. Not loudly, quietly. You become the first person she wants to tell good news to, the one she vents to after a hard day, the one whose opinion lingers in her mind after the conversation ends. She might still date other men, but notice how she talks about them to you. There's often a lack of excitement, sometimes even subtle comparison. That's not cruelty, that's confusion inside her. She's trying to understand why the men she should want don't feel the way you do. Watch how she listens to you. A woman who's only friendly hears words. A woman who's attracted hears meaning. She remembers your tone, your pauses, your contradictions. She asks follow-up questions that go deeper than the surface. This is her way of bonding without risking exposure, because attraction, to her, means vulnerability, and vulnerability is expensive. There's also a reason she may avoid physical escalation while still maintaining closeness. light touches that linger half a second too long, sitting closer than necessary. Finding reasons to be in your space. This isn't accidental, it's her testing the emotional temperature while keeping plausible deniability. If you respond with calm confidence instead of urgency, the tension grows. If you rush, it collapses. Many men sabotage this moment by demanding definition too early, by asking, "What are we?" before she's ready to answer honestly, even to herself. When that happens, fear overrides attraction. She retreats to safety, not because she doesn't feel something, but because the pressure breaks the spell. Attraction needs room to breathe. Here's something few men understand. Women fall for how you make them feel about themselves. Around you, does she feel seen without being judged? Desired without being hunted? Safe without being bored? If yes, you've already crossed an invisible threshold. She may not label it yet, but her nervous system has. Notice how she reacts when you share your standards, not demands, but values. When you speak calmly about what you respect and what you won't tolerate, and she leans in instead of pulling away, that's attraction recognizing strength, not dominance, stability, emotional maturity. And then there's the silence, the moments when neither of you rushes to fill the gap. Those pauses are loaded. A woman who feels nothing will fill them with noise. A woman who feels something will let them exist because they feel intimate. Silence becomes a shared space instead of an awkward one. The truth is, she may be fighting herself. Part of her wants to step closer. Another part wants to stay protected. And right now, you're not in competition with other men. You're in competition with her fear of change. So don't perform, don't plead, don't over-explain, stay present, stay grounded, let your actions speak consistently. Because when a woman is secretly attracted, she doesn't need convincing. She needs time to feel safe, admitting what her behavior already reveals. The most dangerous mistake you can make right now is thinking attraction is built by doing more. More texting, more favors, more emotional availability. That instinct comes from fear, not confidence, and women can feel the difference instantly. When a woman is secretly attracted, she's not measuring how much you give, she's measuring how well you hold yourself. Attraction deepens when she senses that you are choosing her presence, not clinging to it. That distinction matters more than anything you say. If you disappear emotionally the moment she pulls back, you communicate need. If you remain steady, engaged, but not chasing, you communicate strength. And strength is what allows her nervous system to relax. Notice how she reacts when you don't immediately respond to her messages. Not as a tactic, but because you're genuinely occupied with your own life. If she doubles down, sends something playful, or checks in again, that's investment. Women don't pursue emotionally unless there's something pulling them forward. Indifference doesn't trigger curiosity. Presence with boundaries does. There's also a shift in how she frames you to others. When she's attracted, your name comes up more often in her stories. You become "this guy I know" instead of just "a friend." Language evolves before intentions do. And when someone else shows interest in you, watch closely. If she downplays it, changes the subject, or suddenly becomes more attentive, that's not coincidence. That's emotional awareness activating. Another sign men overlook is emotional mirroring. She starts adopting your phrases, your humor, even your perspective. This isn't imitation, it's alignment. Humans mirror those they feel connected to. And when a woman does this unconsciously, it's a signal that you're already inside her emotional frame. At this stage, your job is not to escalate aggressively, it's to invite without pressure. A direct, calm invitation without attachment to outcome can be powerful, something simple, grounded, and honest. If she hesitates but doesn't shut it down, that's not rejection, that's processing. Give her space to do it. What kills attraction faster than anything is resentment disguised as patience. If you're staying close while secretly feeling entitled to more, she will sense it, and it will poison the dynamic. True patience is peaceful. It doesn't keep score. It observes. Here's a truth most men resist. Sometimes a woman's attraction grows strongest when you're willing to walk away from ambiguity. Not with anger, not with ultimatums, but with self-respect. When you calmly shift your energy back to your life, you force clarity. Either she steps forward or she doesn't, and either outcome restores your power. A woman who is secretly attracted is already emotionally involved. She's just deciding whether the risk is worth it. And your behavior is answering that question for her every single day. You don't need to convince her you're valuable. You need to be valuable to yourself first. When she sees that your world doesn't revolve around her, but she's welcome in it, attraction either solidifies or reveals the truth you were avoiding. And clarity, even when it hurts, is always better than staying trapped in hope without direction. Part of you is afraid that if you stop holding this together, everything will fall apart, that if you step back, she'll forget you. But that fear comes from misunderstanding attraction. Real attraction doesn't disappear in silence. It either grows louder or exposes itself as something else, and both outcomes serve you. When a woman is secretly attracted, distance doesn't erase you from her mind. It amplifies you. She replays conversations. She wonders what you're thinking. She notices your absence more than your presence ever did. This is because you were never just filling time for her. You were filling a psychological space, and empty spaces demand attention. Watch how she behaves when you're not as accessible. Does she find reasons to reconnect? Does she send something that doesn't require a response but invites one? That's emotional reaching. Women rarely do that unless there's attachment underneath. A woman who feels nothing simply replaces. A woman who feels something re-engages. There's also a shift in how she opens up. Attraction makes vulnerability less filtered. She may start sharing fears, regrets, or insecurities she never mentioned before. This isn't random oversharing. This is trust deepening. She's letting you see parts of her she protects from most people, and she's watching how you handle that responsibility. Your response here matters. If you rush to fix, to rescue, or to prove worth, you lose ground. But if you listen, validate, and stay grounded, she associates you with emotional safety. Safety is the foundation of desire, not its opposite. Chaos excites briefly. Stability attracts long-term. Another sign is how she reacts to your confidence when you express yourself. Not emotional dumping, but calm honesty. When you speak your thoughts without apology and she leans in instead of withdrawing, that's attraction recognizing authenticity. Women are drawn to men who are emotionally present without being emotionally dependent. At some point, she will test you, not consciously, but instinctively. She may cancel plans. She may take longer to reply. She may pull back slightly. This isn't cruelty, it's calibration. She's seeing if you collapse or stay centered. If your mood swings based on her behavior, she feels pressure. If you remain steady, she feels drawn. Understand this. Attraction isn't built by perfection. It's built by emotional leadership, by showing her that you can navigate uncertainty without losing yourself, that you can care without clinging, that you can want without demanding. If she senses that being with you would mean emotional ease instead of emotional labor, her resistance weakens. The friend label starts to feel inaccurate, even to her. And when that happens, she won't announce it dramatically. She'll shift subtly, more eye contact, longer conversations, increased initiation. The moment you stop trying to control the outcome is the moment you become most attractive, because control signals fear, presence signals confidence. You were never meant to force her decision. You were meant to show her who you are when nothing is guaranteed. And if she's secretly attracted, that's exactly the version of you she's been waiting to see. By now, you're not just wondering if she's attracted, you're wondering what this situation says about you, about your standards, your patience, your willingness to stay in emotional limbo. And that question matters more than whether she ever admits her feelings. When a woman is secretly attracted, the tension eventually demands resolution, not because you push for it, but because the emotional weight becomes impossible to ignore. She'll start creating moments that feel different. Longer eye contact, softer tone, conversations that drift into what if territory without naming it. These are invitations, not accidents. Pay attention to how she responds when you express desire without expectation, not a confession, not a dramatic reveal, just a calm statement of interest paired with acceptance of any outcome. This is where most men either win or lose everything. If she's attracted but afraid, your calmness disarms her fear. If she's not, your composure preserves your dignity. And here's the truth many men avoid. If a woman keeps you close, leans on you emotionally, seeks your validation, but never moves forward, the issue isn't attraction, it's alignment. Attraction without direction becomes stagnation, and stagnation slowly erodes self-respect. You teach people how to treat you by what you tolerate. If you remain in ambiguity indefinitely, you signal that your time and emotions are flexible. A woman who values you will not want to lose you to uncertainty. A woman who is unsure will let time stretch until it costs you something. That's your cue. There's power in choosing yourself without bitterness, in saying, through action, I value connection, but I value clarity more. That energy doesn't repel the right woman, it attracts her. And if she's secretly attracted, this is often the moment she steps forward, because now the risk isn't her feelings, it's losing access to you. If she does step forward, it will feel natural, unforced, almost quiet. No dramatic shift, just alignment. And if she doesn't, you gain something equally valuable. Freedom, freedom from waiting, freedom from imagining, freedom to meet someone who meets you fully. The final truth is simple, but it's one that shakes most men to their core. Attraction is never about what she says. It's about what she does. Her words are negotiable. Her actions are not. And if you've been watching closely, you already know the signs. Subtle, quiet, persistent. She's been revealing her feelings without ever needing to label them. Notice how she adjusts her energy around you compared to others. Notice the way she seeks connection in private, not public. Notice the tension in her laughter, the way her gaze lingers, the small touches that happen when she thinks no one is paying attention. These aren't mistakes. They are unconscious admissions of desire. Now here's where most men stumble. They wait for her to say the word, I like you, or I'm attracted to you, and in doing so, they miss the proof happening in real time. Female attraction is a behavioral language, and if you've been watching, listening, and feeling, you already understand it better than she could express in words. But here's the kicker. Your next move matters more than anything she's done so far. If you act from need, insecurity, or desperation, you undo months of subtle signaling. If you act from presence, clarity, and self-respect, you amplify the attraction she's been trying to keep contained. Men who succeed in these situations don't beg for clarity, they model it. They show that their life, their value, and their emotions are independent of her decision. That independence is magnetic. There will be moments of doubt, yes. Moments when you replay every interaction and question if you misread it. That's natural. But pay attention to her behavior under emotional tension. That's the truth you can rely on, because attraction isn't a feeling. It's a series of choices expressed over time, and women, even unconsciously, make those choices constantly around the men they desire. Here's what you need to internalize. The friend label isn't a wall, it's a doorway. How you respond determines whether she stays behind it or walks through it toward you. Your confidence, your calmness, and your refusal to chase are the keys. These create a safe space for her to align her actions with what she already feels but is afraid to admit. So ask yourself every day, am I present with dignity? Am I offering connection without attachment? Am I holding my own emotional space even when uncertainty threatens me? If the answer is yes, you are already creating the exact conditions for attraction to reveal itself fully. Now here's something for you to do right now. Think about the balance in your interactions with her. Multiply the number of times she initiates meaningful contact by the intensity of her attention. Then subtract the number of times you've felt frustrated or anxious. Share your answer in the comments below. This simple exercise will open your eyes to patterns you may have ignored. If this video hit home, like it, subscribe for more truths most men never hear, and share it with a friend who needs to understand female psychology on a deeper level. Don't just watch, take action, observe, and step into the clarity you've been waiting for.